Alamin. Alhamdulillah, and let's praises for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to congregate here on the day of Jummah in peace and tranquility. Let's spare a moment and remember our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters around the world who are suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow His infinite mercy and blessings upon the entire ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Something that we all need reminding of is we feel that if we carry out the 5 pillars of Islam, which are the pillars of your Iman, that should be sufficient. For example, saying the Shahada, praying 5 times a day, giving the Zakat if you're eligible, fasting in the month of Ramadan, and performing the Hajj at least once in your lifetime. This, something very important, is this only completes half of your Islam, half of your deen. And the other half is how you deal with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whether it's humans, mankind, or animals, creatures, whatever Allah has created is how you treat them. That will complete your Islam. So with regards to that, I'd like to share a hadith where once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his companions, may Allah be pleased with them, in Masjid al-Nabawi. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to the companions that the next man who walks in to the masjid, he is a man of Jannah. Subhanallah. So all the companions, they were anticipating, they were waiting who will walk in. And they see this ordinary man walk in. The next day, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam repeated, the next man to walk into the masjid is a man of Jannah. And the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, again, they're anticipating. They see the same man walks in again. Third day, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the next man to walk into the masjid is a man of Jannah. And again, everyone's anticipating. Third day, the same man walks into the masjid. So one of the companions, may Allah be pleased with him, he said, I need to find out. I need to find out, what is he doing that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is testifying that he's a man of Jannah? So he found an excuse. He goes to the man and he says, I have so-and-so issue. Can I be your guest for 3 days? And the man who's a man of Jannah, he accepted. He said, no problem. Took him with him. So what happened is this companion is secretly observing, let me see how much tahajjud is he praying? How much extra worship is he doing? How much is he fasting? Is he doing any charity? What are the good deeds he's doing that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is testifying he's a man of Jannah? So as he's observing, he doesn't see anything extraordinary. He's praying his 5 prayers. He's doing the normal things that a Muslim should do. Nothing out of the ordinary. So on the 3rd day, the companion, may Allah be pleased with him, he was compelled. He said, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. The reason why I asked to be your guest was none other than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam testified that the first man to walk into the masjid now will be a man of Jannah. And on 3 occasions, on 3 separate days, you were the one who walked in. And I wanted to see, what are you doing? And that's why I've come. So upon hearing this, the companion who was the man of Jannah, he was amused, he was happy. He said, Subhanallah, I don't know myself what I'm doing. And upon pondering, upon thinking, he said, yes, there is one thing I do. What? He said, every night before retiring to bed, every night before going to bed, I make sure I cleanse my heart for everyone. I make sure anyone who's hurt me, I forgive them. I carry no hatred, animosity, nothing against any of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the only thing I can think of. And that made him the man of Jannah. That made Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam testify that he is a man of Jannah. Simply what? Carrying out the duties, the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and carrying out the rights of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He made sure that if a man who makes sure his heart is clean, imagine how his character, his conduct, his tongue was towards the fellow human beings. So this is, and I'll tell you another hadith, just so I know it's difficult, but let me tell you. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was resting under a tree and he put his sword on the side. And a Bedouin, a man of desert, he saw the opportunity. He said, let me attack this prophet, this Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He goes and he picks up the sword of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he puts it on the neck of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened his eyes, found the man standing, and the man says to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's going to save you today from me? He's put the sword of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the neck. And he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who's going to save you from me today? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam smiled at him and he said, Allah. Who's going to save you? Allah. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a move and it frightened the Bedouin. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took hold of his sword and put it back on the neck of this Bedouin and said, who's going to save you from me? And the Bedouin replied, you're truly merciful. You will set me free. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam smiled at him and set him free. Now, a man who attacked the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what was the reaction of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He forgave him. And later on, that man became a Muslim. You know, it's very, very difficult. I agree. I know it's difficult in this dunya to put your ego and your pride on the side and forgive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very difficult. But only difficult for those who give importance to this dunya. Only difficult for those who are only thinking about this dunya. But not so difficult for those who always think about the akhirah. It's only a matter of one breath being removed and we're in the next world eternal. And there is only peace. There is no this hatred, animosity, and these ill feelings and jealousy and envy and whatnot. So if we continuously remind ourselves of the akhirah, that this is only a temporary world, including myself. This is only a temporary world. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, finally to conclude, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you have a fight, if you have an argument, if you have a duel with someone, and although you are the one who's on haqq, you are on the haqq, but for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you forego, you forgive, you let go. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I give you guarantee for a palace in Jannah. For this palace, let's forgive, let's let go. And one more thing I'd like to say. If you know of any fault or any sin your fellow brother is committing or has committed in the past, don't advertise it. If you know of someone is involved in a particular sin, whether it's drugs, alcohol, fornication, robbery, gambling, anything, never ever advertise it. Never ever make it public. Why? Because from the time you've seen him commit that particular sin and the time that you have narrated it, if in that space in between, the particular person who's involved in this sin, if he has turned to Allah, if he has asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven him, and then you've gone and advertised his sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has swore by his majesty. Allah has said, if you advertise, if you go and make his sin public, then Allah swore by his majesty, I will not let you die, the one who has made the sin public. I will not let you die till I make you indulge in the same sin. So let's keep our tongue in our mouth, because this is the piece of meat which has landed many in the fire of hell. May Allah protect us, may Allah guide us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all Jannatul Firdaus, no less than in the neighborhood of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagul mubin.